A few weeks ago I tried but failed to get inside my abandoned barn, but recently I've done some clearing, so today is the day that I finally find out what's inside. So yes, since my failed attempt at getting in this barn a few weeks ago, I've continued to do some more clearing, and I've cleared under the trees here and found the door of the barn, but I've not been inside yet. This area was partly cleared just because it's underneath this oak tree. This is only a small oak tree, but because of the canopy, generally things weren't growing underneath this. It was reasonably clear to start with, so I've just tidied it up and now I can find a route through. And finally I found the door behind all of this junk just on the right hand side, and would you believe it's still open. So this barn has been abandoned for at least 15 years, maybe up to 20 years since anyone's been inside here. And although I've had a look through the window and seen what you have, I haven't actually been inside yet. All I've done is cleared, ready for this moment. So I think it's time we go and have a look, eh? Definitely not moving anywhere. The first thing I can hear when I'm in here are either birds running across the roof or maybe just the trees touching the roof in the wind, which is a little bit disconcerting, especially when you don't know what it is. The second thing that strikes me as well, before I go any further, is that actually it looks like the whole roof is being held up by two steel posts just supporting the ridge there. I definitely wouldn't want to touch at the moment. But I think if I'm careful and I don't really disturb anything, if it's been up this long, there's very little risk that it's going to suddenly collapse, unless I do anything stupid. Before I go in and do anything, I'm just having a bit of a look around before I sort of step on the wrong thing. And it's obvious that this has just been storage for someone's house. I can see tables and chairs, and there's a windbreak there. There's even saucers and plates, and there's a tennis racket on the floor here that I can see. Bits of glass, bits of trim, timber, old doors. It's obviously just storage for someone's house. But before I go anywhere, I can probably confirm 99% for those of you that thought that there would be an old abandoned Rolls Royce or something. There doesn't seem to be any car in here at all. That's a shame, isn't it? And the first thing I do is disturb a load of flies. I don't know if there's flies or wasp nests really. I don't think they're too happy with me coming in. This is a bit ominous. There's a bridegroom there, and there's a cut where the bride used to be, and it has been sliced dead down the middle. So I can only assume that someone fell out with their bride at some point. Things don't change, do they? This looks to me like a combination of American Second World War captain or officer and British soldiers. 6th of July 1944. Someone in that photo meant something to someone that lived here. Which is the weirdest thing, because you come across photos like this and they meant something to someone at some point who are now no longer with us, and it just doesn't mean anything to anyone. It's just been sitting here for years and years, with even the family that they left behind not interested in what happened during the war. It's a shame, really. Lucas parts. I remember Lucas service parts. What's this? Oh, I don't think that's going to be any use. What the heck is this? Motor fuel ration book. Oh my god. It's a ration book for fuel for the war. First month. Second month. 2 units. I don't know what a unit is in petrol rationing terms. Green Shield stamps. I haven't seen these for years and years. Another lawnmower. I think that's maybe 6 or number 7 that I own now. I don't think I'm ever going to be using it. Oh, and just in case, spare lawnmower engine as well. Don't think I'm going to be using that either. And this is some sort of rotary hoe, I think. It's probably seen better days. I don't think I'm ever going to be using this. Now this is interesting. This is quite a heavyweight water container. It's got one of these lugs on either side so it can twist forward, and a handle at the back. It's obviously empty because the barn has been sort of waterproof, which is good. Might be able to make something out of that. What's that? What the heck is that? This is some sort of funeral plaque. So I think that I'll take that with me to have a closer look. Ugh, that looks pretty nasty. In some ways I feel like I shouldn't be here. It feels like I'm on someone else's property, breaking in, having a look round. Just been left in time. Anyway, I'll just put that outside to take it with me when I go. Badminton. Now, I recognise these. This is vintage swing ball. I don't know how many times one of these shot out of my hands in a summer's game. They used to be really heavy, didn't they? God, that's probably because I was 12 when I used it. It's really light now. And an unopened can of processed peas. I was wondering what to eat tonight. June 89. It's like 33 years old. But what this tells me is that this barn is relatively waterproof, because if a magazine like this can sit here for 30 years and I can still flick through it as if it was bought a month ago and sat on a dentist's waiting room table, then that is quite impressive. So what the heck is that? Oh, lovely. Just what I want. So I've managed to tidy up this memorial plaque, and I was right, it's in loving memory of a daughter that died at 8 years old in 1918, which is obviously sad for the people that were around. But now those people aren't around anymore either, so interesting to see and very, very sad. The other thing that I found in amongst the Green Shield stamps and the Co-op stamps as well was this Basildon Bond writing pad, which we all used to own a copy of, including the lined piece of paper underneath that meant that you kept all your lines nice and straight. I've not owned one of these for a long time, and it's funny seeing them. I don't know if you can still buy those. The other thing I thought was interesting was a Christmas card that was sent to the grandparents that used to live on this property, and it says, "Love from Carol, Arthur and Nathan." Now I know that Nathan, this is a guy that sold me the piece of land, the paddock, just a few months ago. And what's interesting is that it doesn't mention his younger brother, so I can only assume that this was sent before his younger brother was born, which would have meant that Nathan was like maybe 1 or 2 years old. I know Nathan now is coming up to early retirement, and in the next few months is giving up his job. So this was a whole lifetime away, this Christmas card. And it just makes you wonder that all of these things, it was interested and important to people at some point in their life. And now that day is over and that day's gone. And all of this has just been sitting in that barn for 15 or 20 years. And in some cases a lot more, just completely ignored and only important to people that are now no longer with us as well. And what that teaches me is you've got to live your life to the fullest, because whether you like it or not, one day your possessions are just going to be boxed up and forgotten about like this, whether you like it or not. So no Rolls Royce or Lamborghini in the barn. In fact, there was nothing of value in the barn at all. If anything, it's going to cost me money to get in some skips to clear it out. But anyway, that's just the way it is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please check out the other ones on the channel and please subscribe. And go and have a look at our Patreon page where you can see additional content and additional weekly videos as well. So I think I've got my job cut out clearing out this barn, but one way or the other, I will see you next time.